Hello, welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Originally, this was supposed to be more like a winter-inspired build. I was gonna take the screenshots in a world that was all snowy and wintry and everything, and that's also why I included Snowy Escape in the expansion pack. But I couldn't get the deep, dark, woodsy look that I had in my head that I originally wanted. And so I ultimately ended up going in a completely different direction. But it still turned out really, really cute in the end. It is a one story. I wouldn't necessarily call this a ranch style home, but it is like a little one story sort of cabin ish by the lake with a basement apartment. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I had to. The thing is, with this build, much like the other one though, it's relatively easy enough to use this in the base game and still have the basement apartment be like a separate apartment, especially if you're playing with a family who has a child that is grown or an older teen or just turned into a young adult or whatever. They can use the basement apartment. And because it's family, like the BFFs in my last speed build, it doesn't really matter if they use each other's stuff or if they come and go from each other's area because it would make sense. So you could totally use this in just the base game alone. So I did restrict the number of packs that I used for this one again. I try to do that in most of my builds. However, this one I didn't just restrict it to base game and one pack or even just two packs. I did use a few different packs this time. Um, I try. I'm not going to say I always do it because I don't, but I try to restrict the number of packs as much as possible usually. But I'm kind of feeling stuck. So I might start maybe mixing a few more items from a few more packs together. Don't worry, I will continue to do my mainly base game and one pack or two packs at the most. Or if I'm just using kits, I might use like 3 kits. But I would kind of like to mix builds in every now and then where I'm not restricted to anything. I use everything from every pack that I have, especially again since I don't use custom content and I have all this stuff. I kind of just want to use it all. I will try to limit it to like one, maybe two packs plus the base game for the majority of the furniture, and then just one or two items from other packs as decor items. That way, if something disappears, it won't matter as much, or it can be easily replaced by default base game stuff or custom content stuff, and it won't affect the overall build. But I'm gonna admit something. As much as if you've been here, if you've watched my speed builds, you know that I love things to be more minimalistic, more simplistic, not overly fluffy and filled and all that kind of stuff. But it might be growing on me a little bit. I might be craving a little more fluff in my landscaping, a little more clutter in my bedrooms, a little more fullness in my kitchen. Maybe. I'm not admitting to anything, you know. It's just something I'm thinking about. Anyways, let's talk about this cabin. That roof was it was incredibly annoying. I still don't know if I love it. it didn't come out the way I imagined in my head it was supposed to come out. And without making everything just brown on brown on brown, I was trying really hard to get that really sort of rough, raw, deep woods, like just dark, woodsy look, like a real rough cabin is what I was going for. And most of the time, you can kind of ignore when the wood tones don't perfectly match up or when the siding is really nice looking, but your posts are really raw wood looking. In this case, though, all that brown on brown on brown, with the posts looking really woodsy and raw, and then the siding actually kind of looking like decent siding but in brown, it didn't work. So I ended up going in a completely different direction. And I landed on this green siding, which I think I go back to. Oh, maybe it's not that green siding. I do land on a sort of greenish siding, like a greenish gray. And then I end up going back and changing all of the accents to white. Here I am trying to still use the woodsy look, but with a decent blue siding, I guess. I forgot I did this actually. And okay, this is the part where I'm like, no, this is just not working. I cannot get this deep. Maybe it's the lighting on the lot. That could be the problem. The lighting on the lot might be throwing it off a little bit. But I just couldn't get that deep woodsy look. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to embrace this. This house looks like it could be a cute little, like, almost Cape Cod ish inspired lakeside cabin. So we'll go white for all the accents instead. I do white so much though that even I get tired of it for like accents and windows and everything. Even I get tired of it, and I really wanted to do something different, but I just, with the packs that I restricted myself to, I just could not make it look good. No matter how hard I tried, I just could not make it look good. Also, yeah, there's some clipping on the roofs in some parts, but that's just a limitation of the game, and no matter how hard you try, you're not going to get rid of all roof clipping everywhere. It just is what it is. Overall, though, the footprint, the basic structure, and the roof aren't terrible. They definitely say little tiny lakeside cabin, and that's what I was going for. So I'm happy with that. It did turn out well in that sort of way. I just wish that I could have made that deep woodsy look work. So here I am trying to figure out the basement situation. I don't know if I left enough room there or not. I'm fairly certain your Sims can get in there and walk around. Fairly certain. Not 100%. I didn't playtest this one, but I'm relatively certain, especially the way I have the door opening in towards the wall right in front of the steps. Your Sim should be able to get in that door and go straight down the steps. And everything on that landing area there is just decoration anyways, so your Sim shouldn't care about any of that stuff. Typically, there would be a doorway here because this would be like a basement and you would access it from inside of the house. But my sort of in my head storyline that I had for this lot was that it was an outside access basement. I don't know if you've ever seen those. The really, really old houses, the small, like little cabiny like type houses that sometimes have like a root cellar or something underneath. They don't necessarily have basement access inside, but they have those big doors on the ground that are slightly up at an angle, and you kind of have to. They kind of almost vaguely remind me of trapdoors in the floor, but kind of not. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, outside access basement. And that's kind of my thought in my head was originally this was outside access, root cellar type of thing, and then they just enclosed that area at the top of the steps and made it a little entryway room so that they could turn the root cellar slash basement into a apartment. That was kind of the storyline I was going for. And as for the people, to me, as I was building this, it felt like a small family. Originally, I didn't envision them having any children. I did include a children's room just so that other people can play with it how they want to play with it. But my original story idea for this build was that it was a couple, maybe an older couple, who are retired or semi retired or just don't feel like working the 9 to 5 grind, if you will, and instead are renting out their basement for a little extra income. Maybe potentially they grow their own vegetables. I don't know. There's not a lot of flat area on this lot, but it was kind of like not not young working Sims, like more like retired or something Sims that just wanted a little bit of extra money and someone else around nearby that they could socialize with or whatever. That was kind of the idea I had in my head. And I will tell you, this is the first time that I've ever built a basement window well because I was always intimidated by it before, and I'm glad I did it. They turned out really, really well. Excuse me. So I'm glad I did it, but what you don't see in this video is all the parts that I took out because I struggled to get them to work. If you've never built a window well that allows natural light into a basement in The Sims 4, and you want to know how I figured out where I got my information from and how I figured out how to do it, let me know and I will do a video about that. Once you've seen it done once and once you kind of get the feel for doing it yourself, it's so incredibly easy. I don't know why I was so intimidated by it before. The only thing that kind of frustrated me a little bit was where I live, we a lot of times our window wells for basements are either really shallow, so a maximum of like 3 or 4 feet deep, or they have these like plastic covers over the well so that no one and nothing can fall into it. And I tried to recreate that with a roof piece, but when I put the roof piece over it, there was some kind of graphics glitch. I'm sure you saw it when I was looking at it and put that roof piece over it. I didn't like the way that looked. Feel free to go back in and add it if you don't mind that little graphical glitch being there, graphic glitch or whatever being there. I loved the window well cover. I just didn't love that you could see through the world there. So that's why I got rid of that and put the awning that kind of looks like a grate above there instead. I left the basement apartment fairly neutral and unadorned so that it would work for the maximum different types of Sims possible. Like, you could even have a young couple with a new baby move in here. At least until the baby is a child. Like, as a newborn infant or toddler, this space is totally fine. There's plenty of room. But once that little sim kid turns into an actual child, you might want to move out of this basement apartment. But I left it fairly neutral so that it could cover the most like variety of Sims possible. And I used as much cheap stuff and didn't overly decorate it to keep this apartment as cheap as possible as well. I wanted it to be a really, really cheap basement apartment that will cost whatever sim moves here little to no money at all. That was kind of the goal when furnishing and decorating and all of that kind of stuff this basement apartment. I looking back, I kind of went a little overboard with the entry room in keeping that idea of keeping it neutral and as cheap as possible. I feel like I put a little too much stuff into that entry room right there, but it's fine. I mean, it's a small, tiny room, so that's probably why it looks a little fuller as well. Also, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I can't put banisters on my stairs because they just don't show up. So I didn't bother with this build because all you see are the end rails or whatever they're called, and that's it. You don't see the handrail or any of that stuff. So I just didn't bother. I don't like that. It bothers me. It looks weird to have stairs without the handrails and stuff, but I don't know. Apparently, the last update created some glitches in the game with that kind of stuff. So, yeah. You, by all means, you can feel free to add them in if it's not glitching in your game. I just thought it would look terrible for the purposes of screenshots and this build, so I did not add them in. Oh my goodness, this is another long one. I feel like I've been talking forever already. And part of that is because I'm actually editing the speed build as I'm recording the voiceover. Typically, I edit the like video portion first and then I come back and do the voiceover, and if there needs to be any like minor tweaks to the video part, I'll do that as I'm doing the voiceover. But I kind of procrastinated this time, and I'm once again like, well, with the last one, I had it finished like 2 or 3 days ahead of time, but I did not like the way it turned out, so I went back and changed it to make it better. So that was a different situation. This time, I just simply procrastinated and put everything off to the last minute. And so the day that I am uploading this, in fact, I have 1 hour from the time I am doing this voiceover right now. I have 1 hour to get this uploaded if I want to be able to publish it at exactly the same time I always publish my videos, which is 2 p.m. Central Time. I think it's going to be a little late today. Not a lot, but a little late today because, yeah, it usually takes my videos roughly around 70 to 90 minutes to process on YouTube's end. So, and I still have, I can't even do the math while I'm talking right now, but I still have well over 10 minutes of voiceover to do yet, and who knows how much more editing of the video portion. I don't think there's too much more editing of the video portion. I think I got all the, like, I call them dead spots, where I will suddenly stop doing anything and the screen just stays on one thing for like 10 minutes. Usually it's because I get distracted by YouTube and I go off and watch YouTube or something for a few minutes. Sometimes it's because I'm looking stuff up, trying to find something, or trying to figure out how to do something or whatever. I guess I could have also, now that I'm watching this, I could have cut out some of the scrolling through the buy mode, that would have reduced the time of this speed build some as well. Oh well, you live and you learn, right? Um, Overall, though, it wasn't too terribly hard. Excuse me. I was just procrastinating simply because I was having a rough week, not because the build itself was difficult where I didn't have any inspiration for it or anything. So I'm thinking, okay, this is the part where I was gonna try to set the house up where I could add a doorway to that basement area. I forgot that I did that, honestly. I completely forgot that I did that. And then I ended up changing my mind. I should have put the picture back. Darn it. I completely forgot about that. This was built over the course of 4 days. So my memory is just not that great. I usually forget stuff by the next day, let alone 4 days later. And this part here, I actually recorded last night, the day before uploading. So, and I started the build 2 days before that. So, yeah, my memory is just not that good. But it's fine. I mean, you could go back in there if you really want that basement access door right there. I will say this. We don't know, like, doing it this way as a base game build, it would totally be fine. You can easily lock that door or whatever. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Especially if you're playing with like older Sims and their adult child living in the basement. Totally fine. But from what little bit we know and from the mechanics that are already in the game, with places like San Myshuno and Evergreen Harbor and how all of that stuff works, uh, I would not put a door there if you are hoping to make this an actual house with a basement apartment that you're renting out. I think that that will interfere with the game and the way the game will work. So I would not put a door there if I were you. If it was leading outside to the backyard, that might be fine. But because it's leading into technically the other unit of this building, I think that that would cause some issues when and if you get the new expansion pack. So, being restricted to just a few packs and things, there isn't a lot you can put on kitchen shelves. I really, really wanted open shelves here, but and in all honesty, even if I'd opened up all the packs to use, there just isn't a lot to put on the kitchen's shelves. I guess I could have gone into debug and used like cereal boxes and stuff up there, but I didn't really think of it at the time, to be honest. At this point here, excuse me, oh my god, my voice is getting dry and tired. Already, I've only been talking for like 40 minutes and it's already getting dry and tired. This is really annoying, to be honest. Anyways, I forgot what I was saying now. My voice keeps cracking and going out, so I keep losing my train of thought. Yeah, I completely lost it. I have no idea what I was saying. Oh well, moving on. So I did do a little bit in the bathroom, but not much. I only care about bathrooms when they're like a big bathrooms in decently sized family homes. Otherwise, I really don't care that much about bathrooms. Like, you go in there, your sim goes in there, sorry, and they do their business and they come out. They're not hanging out in there. You know what I mean? Well, they shouldn't be hanging out in there, anyways. I also, if I'm being honest, the the way I decorated the living room, it looks really cute, but I don't like the size and shape of the living room. It ended up being a lot smaller than I meant for it to be, and it kind of annoys me a little bit, but also it does kind of make sense being that this is a really small family cabin. Like, you have 2 bedrooms in this tiny cabin, so there's not a ton of room to spare, right? And all the rooms are fairly small. It's just, I don't know, it feels claustrophobic or something, I guess, is what it feels like to me. So, what else do we talk about at this point? Oh, random emoji time. Put since this was supposed to be a winter cabin, put either a snowman or a snowflake emoji in the comments if you are listening to this part of the video. If you are, you have no idea how much I appreciate you. It's amazing if you are listening to this part of the video. Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, it's amazing that I'm at 261 subscribers. Like, that just absolutely blows my mind. Again, on November 25th, I plan on doing at least a 4-hour live stream to support. No. What's the word I'm looking for? To celebrate. That's the word. Oh my goodness. My brain is gone. Don't pay any attention to me. To celebrate all these new subscribers to my YouTube channel, I'm going to do a nice long celebration live stream. I'm gonna try to do it on YouTube, but I'm gonna be honest. The last couple of times I went live on YouTube, oh, my doggy is coughing. Hold on. The last couple of times I tried to go live on YouTube, I had some technical issues. Like, you kind of have to set up a YouTube live stream beforehand and then connect to that live stream. And for some reason, my OBS was not doing that the last couple of times. And the last time I ended up, the OBS, the program, ended up starting a fresh new live stream, and then I had to go in and delete the one that was already there and started because it was listed on the front page. Meanwhile, the secondary live was also going. It was weird, and it's technical stuff that I don't understand, and I don't like messing with it. So I'll try to do that live on YouTube if I can get those technical issues worked out. It's mostly like user error technical issues, like me, I'm the problem. Hey, it's me, I'm the problem. Um, but if I can figure that out, I'll do the live stream on YouTube. If not, Twitch is fine too. We can hang out on Twitch and do our little celebration on Twitch. But I'd love to do a 4-hour stream if possible. Maybe longer if I have the time, and I'll try to play like 3 different games, but mostly The Sims 4 because that's like my game. It's my comfort game. It's my security blanket, okay? But yeah, oh, we're finally getting close to the end. This bedroom really annoyed me. And also, if I were to ever download any custom content, it would be artwork and other various wall hanging things because that is definitely the one area in the game where I think we are severely, severely lacking is wall things, especially if you are restricting yourself to only a couple of packs, then you basically have almost nothing really to choose from, and it looks terrible. It looks really bad. I really tried, but it's not my fault. It's the game. And I didn't want to use custom content. I guess what I should do is check the gallery for custom paintings. That could help liven that kind of stuff up a little bit. And I guess one of these days I should just have one of my Sims paint some of my own custom paintings so that I can include those on the gallery as well. That'd be a nice thing to do for people. I'm sure I'm not the only one annoyed by this issue of having very limited wall decor to put up. But yeah, the adult bedroom, although honestly, the whole aesthetic that this whole build is and that I was going for, it kind of works. The adult bedroom is a really mismatched bedroom, and it just kind of works with this little lakeside cabin aesthetic, feel, vibe, whatever. So I'm not too terribly mad at it. You know what I mean? Oh, good. We only have a couple minutes left. I did include a random workbench outside because I thought it fit the theme that I was going for. I just smacked myself. Sorry. I'm sure you could hear that. It fit the theme, so I included it. And then I spent probably 30 minutes struggling with how to decorate the front yard. Eventually it does come together, but not without a little bit of frustration first and starting over a couple of times to get it just right. But yeah, this kind of landscaping style is starting to grow on me a little bit, honestly. I'm kind of starting to see the appeal in having a fluffier, more dynamic. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Um, Lots of different, layered, that's what I was trying to say. A layered, uh, sort of landscaping like this. Not that I will ever give up on my minimalist modern landscaping, but I can see the appeal of this now. It really is starting to grow on me. It was kind of one of those things where you have to fake liking something for a long time until you accidentally start liking it. You know what I mean? And yeah, now I'm at the point where it's actually growing on me and I actually think it looks good. I think the only other thing I did was go back and add lights and a mailbox to the build because somehow my mailbox disappeared. I don't think it made it into the video, but it is in the screenshots, which we're about to look at right now. The front of the cabin with the lake right behind it, the main entryway for the main part of the cabin, which leads into the dining kitchen area. You could see the doorway for the living room right there, the teeny tiny living room. And then up next is the adult bedroom and the kids' bedroom, if you want to use it. Otherwise, don't. In my mind, there are no kids living here. And then we're coming up on the basement apartment. This basement apartment, I forgot to mention, has a storage closet right there. That's what that door is for. It's a storage closet, so you have that option. And then the bedroom for the basement apartment. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!